Good morning. Okay, so yesterday's consolidation day, which was expected. Happy that's over. Debate one is over. Only thing missing, I think, was the boxing gloves. So today, I think is going to be a tell day as it forms here. We see that the futures were down. Well, it looks like they initially went up, then down, and then now they're coming back up again. So as they tagged the upper resistance area here, they got knocked back down and kind of, well, I guess a little bit of support over here to the left and come back up again. So lower highs, lower low. The question is this a downside shakeout or what's going to form as a lower high and then down into the void? Now, I say it's kind of a tell day because we don't, any given day, as we start the day, we don't know where the day is going to end. But as I look at this bar that's forming at the moment, if it closes with a bottoming tail bar, that's a correction bar after the move up, which suggests continuation to the top of this resistance area. On the other hand, if it closes with a red bar down near the low, well, you know what that means. It's going down here and maybe lower. So, so far, uncertainty, up, down, back up, where it started. You see the little doji kind of bar there. The open and closes being the same. And what we want to see, I guess, at the end of this week, we still got plenty of time to go, is whether this bar, this is the weekly chart in the lower left, does it actually close above the open or below the open? Meaning, are we going to get a green bar or, a doji or what have you? Because this pullback and bottoming tail is the beginnings of a turn. And, we talked about the other day, whether this could go up or whether it fails here and we get the measured move lower. So we're in the kind of in the middle of nowhere here as the markets try and figure out whether this is the low or whether this move up is just the development of a lower high and then headed lower. So, and it's still on the sideline, the sense of waiting to see where this is all going to end. So, out of sync time frames, and that tends to create some choppy stuff going on here. So, as yesterday was expected to be the consolidation day, and I think a lot of traders got chopped up pretty good trying to figure which way it was going to go, up or down intraday, and it wound up just flip-flopping constantly. So SPX, it's Wednesday. I think, danger zones, as I like to call them, definitely above yesterday's high. And as I look at the ranges, let's call it 3380. And if there's what Dan likes to call juice, I think that's far enough away. Even if it got it through 3360, it's starting from below 3300. So 3360 be too close. Obviously, it could get there. And 3370 could be okay since it's starting from this point. Again, we're talking futures, not SPX. SPX is going to open up. What's SPY? Looks like it's flat here. No, down a little bit, but I don't think this is updating right now. Weird. Anyway, we'll take a look where SPY is. Let me just see. So pretty close to where it opened, 33, 333, 332, a little bit up here. And you can see we get a different picture when we go to SPY because of the gap up and then this red bar. And the message is still the same. Where's it going to go? So, and it could easily get above the highs here, and it could easily get below the lows. So you definitely want to have an alert above the day before's high and an alert below yesterday's low. And that could just start an intraday move, obviously, in either direction as we look at the 60-minute chart. And the same analysis of wanting to get above this level here, 344. 344. Well, that's going to be too far away. You're never going to get premium up there. Wouldn't that be nice? If it was way up there today, that's not going to happen. I don't think so. So go to SPX. There's the line of defense, the gap. So 3,400, right? A whole number, which is good. Got an unfilled gap. If there's juice above 3,400, now there's a void there. But, we're looking at this big red bar, which is this area here, 34. There's even 3410, I'm being told. So that is good. So not that it can't get there, but the fact that there's an unfilled gap and it's got to get through this area and where it is on the daily chart in the downtrend, let's call that the safe zone, 3410. So 3410 by whatever. Right? When we look at SPX, when I look at SPX anyway, I'm not so concerned about the distance between the spreads, which is going to give you your potential loss. When I look at SPX, credit spread trade, I'm looking for things that I consider to be as close to 100% probability that it's not going there. So I don't care the distance between the spreads because, like I said, I'm, let's say, 98% sure that loss is never going to happen. So on the downside, your line of defense is this unfilled gap, which isn't very far away, and then you've got a void. So that's a tough one. Maybe, and it's just a guesstimate where I would say, at least below 3280. So wherever we can get juice below 3280. Now, there's no significant line of defense there, but it's got to fill that gap and it's got to come down. So I'm just looking at this minor support, which is subjective, but the distance that it has to travel to get down there would be large for the day. Okay, so Trader McGraw is telling me 3410 is a 37% probability based on delta, which I have no idea what that means. I'm kidding, I do. But we're chart readers, so delta, vega, whatever. You Greek aficionados. Okay, 3270 has juice. Well, probably okay, but let's see if we get kind of some downside going this morning, if that's going to happen. All right, let's look at the other things. It's getting late. 3265. That makes me feel a little better. All right, so we're getting the same kind of potential correction bar. Does it close above the open, or does it close down here today? Same hourly, lower high, lower lows, breaking the uptrend here. Beginning to get a trading range. So just, what is a trading range? Just a larger area of chop, right? The distances between support and resistance. So until this actually gives us a more defined piece of information, you want to be nimble. This is not going to be easy. YM, and maybe that's good for the spread, right? Usually is good for spreads. YM getting above its opening price, and Just at this resistance, converging moving averages. We talked about that yesterday. Again, same story. Going to be a correction bar or a red bar. XBI, relative strength, you're asking about. Yeah, it was strong yesterday. Still kind of garbage. You know, one green day doesn't mean we want to do something. All right. But holding up there. Russell, just a mess. And actually popped up there and got knocked back down. So what does that tell us? There are sellers lurking above. Right? You had this upside shakeout, but buyers stepped right up at the prior low. So, which isn't surprising. Right? There's always going to be bids at prior lows for scalpers. And now that we know that there are sellers up here, which is creating a 60-minute trading range, let's see what it does. The retracement from the low up to here is about to a point where bears, sellers are going to get a little nervous. Ideally, when we look at something like this, it stays in the middle part of the range and turns back down. So maybe below this green bar, this 60-minute bar, it's going to send things lower. If it gets all the way back up to the high, I think it's going to be another intraday battle day. I don't think it's going to get much further than that. Bonds, not much of a change. It's been in a coma trade for a while here, flipping back and forth. Oil, reversed down yesterday. Could be a 1, 2, 3 lower. It's holding up here today. So no matter where we look here this morning, things are tricky. Right? They're tricky. Well, be nimble. Or sit on your hands. Gold was up a bit yesterday. At this resistance, flip-flopping around. Silver, same story. And the transports, they were up there, reversal down yesterday. The head and shoulders scenario is still in play. It's still there, right? So it did not break lower. It's still a lower right shoulder at this point if this continues lower. But, it's called the neckline, which you should have an alert there. Even if it gets there, you want to know if it gets there, because now that it gapped up in that red bar, if it heads down here, the probabilities increase exponentially that it breaks. And if the transports are breaking, odds are other things are. And so if you see the fangs getting weaker, technology, XBE, I should say, regionals and XBI, the biotechs, all of these things start to come in alignment to the bearish case. Transports get above yesterday or day before yesterday's high. Well, that could be a measure for the bullish case. So there you have it. Right? At the moment, we're in a bit of a state of confusion, because that's what the charts are. They're confused, right? So we're confused. We're not really confused, meaning I like to say it that way, but recognizing what's going on here and recognizing that there aren't great odds here for swing trades, right? Possibly things have turned around, but look, there were things yesterday that were green bars that look great, and then they turned into, not so great looking stuff. And so there's still good things look out there, but let's see what today brings, because whatever's looking good, if the market falls apart, could drag it under with it. So there you have it. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. All right, all our opens are fine. I mean, the market, when I got up at 6, was down 250, the Dow, which I was hoping for. I wanted a gap fill. I wanted to sell off. and then, you know, stabilize, and that would make a higher low. But as Greg said, it's trickier here now. A couple of all our opens are fine. Bluffs we got into yesterday, and that's gapping up here to yesterday's high. That looks great. So I'll be looking to tighten the stop under this 15-minute base. Maybe we'll sell a third into strength. Myrna or long stock, that's gapping up. So I tighten the stop in Telegram. So
I
moving
don't hear anything. Is it me?
It's you. I'm talking. Yeah, it's you, Greg. All right. So any other questions on opens, just ask me, but let's look at gappers. XPEV gapping up here, IPO stock. I like watching IPOs. So I have this in a bottom right, maybe 30-minute high. This could be a new low failure, going sideways at this breakdown area with a price void. Duke, I saw there was a big article in the journal. I didn't read it, but it's gapping way the heck up here. XRT. The only reason I put XRT here, the journal had a big article. We got record retail closures and bankruptcies starting to exceed the 2007 to 9 recession. But, you know, we talked about this before, that this is still holding up fine. It's because of the components of the ones that are doing so well. Boeing was in the paper. They're going to move all their production of they're going to move it out of Seattle down to South Carolina. And I didn't read the article because I don't care, but I wonder how much of that is politics. Yeah, NEO's on the list. That was on our list yesterday. And what a beautiful, beautiful entry right here would have been. The only problem was that was 1 p.m. But it was on our morning list if it closed strong. And this is one of those times, you know, it ran without us, but that was one of my favorite yesterday morning. OPK. Yeah, that's on the list. This is a little breakout. I included when I did the video review last night. And I went over about a dozen of these that were on my long watch list. OPK is one of them. Yeah, BABA is on my list in here. Nice gap up, 285. So on a pullback, BABA looks good, sure. Let me put him in a window on my other computer. Knee takeover bid. Oh, you're talking on Duke. Yeah, Steve, I have no interest in Seattle, Portland, Chicago, New York. I have zero interest in those problem cities. Overstock, hey, Greta, if you can agree, Gideon, my bad, Gideon, if you can put your drop down, all panelists and attendees, it's still in a trading range. You need more of a something to get overstock moving. GRWG, it's, you know, it's a retest, it's a watch, sure. Zoom, we actually shorted a call spread on Zoom yesterday, and anything on Zoom 60-minute? I always have an opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's in a downtrend on 60-minute, but it's extended. So I'd be looking to short a bounce, sure. All right, a couple of YouTube questions. DGX pop. Yeah, it's light volume, but it's sloppy. All right, let's see, YouTube. How do you folks manage losses when you're so far out of the money with all that collapse? Well, MC's asking, I'm assuming MC's asking on credit spreads. So the answer is easy with the charts. We're technical traders. We enter on the chart and manage on the chart with pivots, support and resistance. Oliver's asking about P-tongue, cup and handle. I don't see any cup and handle anywhere. It was a 1, 2, 3 breakout that triggered yesterday, but otherwise I see no cup and handle. CRSR. CRSR. It's a recent IPO. I like watching IPOs. CRSR. So I'm putting that in the list. But right now, it's what we call a climactic sell setup. I mean, it's a buy on a pullback, but I surely wouldn't be swing longing it unless you're just trading a 15-minute chart is all. Asking about Nikola. Yeah, I saw it up a buck today. I already looked at it, but there's no pattern. I mean, it's gapping over yesterday's high, but it's still in a nasty downtrend. Nikola needs a lot of help. Yeah, Shop was another one of our favorites yesterday, a little kind of bullish reverse head and shoulders. This one also gave a no-brainer entry right here. This bullish engulfing breakout right there, 11 o'clock. That was your no-brainer entry on Shop. You're chasing right now. LI. Yeah, I have LI here in my list right here at 441. That's right where I left off before everyone started asking me questions. Yeah, I like LI as a bottoming IPO. Yeah, I like it a lot. So that's on my list. BPYU for Scott. BPY. Wow, that's a hard one to type. There's no volume pre-market, so I can't tell what it's doing, but it's at the top of the range. I have no interest. CVAC, still on a downtrend, but let's kind of see if it can. It's in the area. You see this IPO candle. So the real body is where the IPO opened, right? And so look, that's right where these 4 bars are trying to stabilize. So it's worth watching. CVAC. TJ Lulu. Yeah, some people were trading it yesterday, but it's just not clean. I think we can find better. It might set up for a day trade. But like we said, we're not going to be rushing to do anything here at the open unless it's one of a real compelling gapper. 3480. Here's a bearish gap. So 30-minute low. 30-minute low. That's a candidate. Let me. JR's asking about bluffs, BLFS. We're already in it. We're long bluffs already, but it looks great. And this was one when yesterday morning I was still very, like today, it's like going to be the same. It was inside day, I'm being calm. We only gave 2 new trades, to the advisory letter, 2 to the weekly options trader. So we actually were very calm yesterday, but this was one of the 2. It looked fantastic. Bullish consolidation, breakout, relative strength, all-time highs. Now it's gapping up from this very bullish 15-minute chart. So yeah, for a day trade, it looks higher. Sure. It looks great. Victor is asking about Snap. There's no pattern. I mean, it's in a sloppy uptrend, but it's at the July highs, and it's in a trading range on the 15 minutes, so I see nothing there. Twitter, same, up 3 bars, topping tail, gapping down. I just got 0 interest in it. You've heard me, the ones that I like. I like LI. Look, this XPEV, I like this pre-market action a lot. Look, gapping up and going sideways. Look at this gap, folks. It's gapping over all of this. So you got to count how many days that is. And it's gapping over at pre-market and going sideways. So this is one of my favorite long gap setups right now. Sam, SBX. SBX, no symbol, Sam. Shill. We've talked about this for a couple of days now. I need Shill to go sideways here at resistance. And then it could be a bullish inverse head and shoulders. BSGM. I don't trade those. I mean, it's a bearish consolidation. Oh, you want to go short? My bad. I thought you were talking long because of the slight little gap up here. It's fine under yesterday's low. Stop over that little base. It can't bounce, but I'm not crazy about shorting $5 stocks, but it looks lower. Rexer, it's just capping the resistance. I'm not sure. Here's LI, the middle window. LI's at resistance, but now, like if somebody liked this stock fundamentally for whatever, well, tick's really ripping here to the upside. If you liked it fundamentally, you just buy it with a stop under last week's low on Lima, India. My 15-minute charts, let's see. Cream could be setting up a kind of a reverse head and shoulders. So Cream is worth watching. Roku was on the list yesterday. Still holding.